Welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner. Today we'll be reviewing the Browns versus Ravens. Crazy game. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, this is an unpopular opinion. It really will be. I'm sure I'll draw heat from it. I seem to draw heat no matter what I say about quarterback play, so I don't even care anymore. I don't care. But Baker Mayfield outplayed Lamar Jackson significantly. I know Lamar Jackson came back in the end of this thing. Paul Pierce. Oh, by the way, I found this way too entertaining for me, so I'll share with you and everybody else that watches. Lamar Jackson didn't think that Baker Mayfield would ever take the Browns to the Super Bowl, so he decided to do it himself.
Yes.
But no, all jokes aside, Baker Mayfield, 28 of 47, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns. The run game was going all night. Nick Chubb had a great game, 17 carries, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, putting up 42 points. I don't know what else Baker Mayfield could have done in this one. He also had 5 carries, 23 yards, and a touchdown on the ground.
Would have been nice if he would have had a defense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Lamar. Lamar was doing Lamar things. 9 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay,
a lot of his passing numbers didn't come till the fourth quarter, though, like late.
Exactly. And you look at that. I'm not going to look at the official box score. I'm just going to bring up the final. But you look at 11 of 17, 163 yards and a touchdown. That's not exactly gaudy quarterback play. That's not dominating. It was just a shootout. They couldn't get anything stopped on the run, which is exactly what the Ravens hope you can't stop is their run scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lamar was electric. We know about that, but I just can't say enough good things about Baker Mayfield right now. I seem like we talk about him all the time. If I feel like
he's a fun guy to watch, and he's a fun guy to talk about when he's on his A game.
There's just some guys that are enigmatic and draw your attention, like Kanye West. That's like Baker Mayfield or Donald Trump. Baker Mayfield's kind of like the Donald Trump Kanye West. It's just like he makes you talk about him.
He's got this them to me.
He's got this attitude about him, right? He's got this attitude. Make the Browns great again is his saying. Maba.
He wants to take the Browns to the Super Bowl himself.
Yeah, baby. He is making them competitive. He's got him at what do I got here? He's got him at 9-4. You could make an argument that they should be 10-3. I mean, what more can you ask from Baker, man? I mean, he's really just embraced this offense and this new role.
As a Vikings fan, I'm upset because we could have had Kevin Stefanski, but it just speaks volumes to just how good of a coach he is. I mean, he's like, we've talked about this on before on the show. Kevin Stefanski was hired by good old Chili, Brad Childress, way back in the day. And then he survived Leslie Frazier, who was interim, so they worked in the same staff together. But the big one that surprises you, because this doesn't happen much, when a whole new regime comes in and they keep 1 or 2 of the old coaches, it really speaks volumes to that coach. And Stefanski's coached a wide array of positions, quarterbacks, tight ends, receivers, before becoming the interim offensive coordinator for John DeFilippo, and then later offensive coordinator, now head coach at the Browns. And he was the right guy for the job because as we've talked about it, there's a lot of personalities in that Browns locker room, and he's dang near the polar opposite of Freddie Kitchens, who, I mean, wearing that shirt after the whole Myles Garrett incident and stuff like that, like it seemed like he was more of a fan of the players he was coaching rather than their coach. It's kind of like parenting. Like you're the kid's parents, you're not your kid's best friends. You know what I mean? Right. There's a fine line. And I feel like Kevin Stefanski's done a great job of committing to the run, and then from there that takes pressure off Baker. And when you're able to run the football, with the play action pass, it sucks in linebackers so much that it makes your reads way more easy. And I think that it's the perfect system for Baker, and I think you're starting to finally see it.
Yeah, excellent point. I like what you said about Stefanski really honing them and gathering that in. it's tough. I can't imagine how you win respect at the college or pro level because I personally have never had to do it. But I know it is difficult to win respect from kids at the high school level. Being a high school coach myself. So when you want to be there for them, but you can't coddle them. So how do you react to an NFL player that has done this their whole life, right? How do you
Mm-hmm.
command their, how do you walk in day one and get that right? I can't imagine. I don't know how I would react because I've never been put in that situation, so I won't pretend. So I'm not going to make fun of Freddie Kitchens or poke jokes at, but it was clear from about week 3 of last season on he was in over his head, and the ship didn't get righted, and the more things that came out made you really shake your head and go, man, this is a waste of talent. What could this
Mm-hmm.
Browns team be? So you get the right guy in Kevin Stefanski to come in here and really he checked Baker's personality. He gets Myles Garrett. He deals with that situation after the character concerns with the helmet. Right, we all know about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he deals with the overall attitude of Cleveland just being a town that sucks. Right, I mean that's the attitude that was there. So absolute hats off to Kevin Stefanski for dealing with all of that, reining it in, and it looks like he's going to get a playoff berth as a reward for doing such a good job this year.
Yeah, and I feel like other coaches in the past in Cleveland, they've all wanted to put a Band-Aid over certain situations, like the Myles Garrett situation. I don't know Myles Garrett personally, but just through the draft process and hearing people talk, he's a good person who just made a mistake. A lot of some people are think that Odell Beckham's a diva, but I think he's just a very passionate guy, and sometimes the way he shows that might not be the most productive for the team as a whole. But I feel like rather than putting band-aids, those are just two examples. I mean, Baker Mayfield's play also, rather than just putting band-aids over it, I think he's fixed it. I think he's finally like, why keep using band-aids when we can just fix this, and I think that's kind of what he's done. I think he's stitched together a really good team, and I mean you're starting to see that they drafted well too. I mean, you're getting a lot of production out of your young left tackle. You're getting production out of the tight ends, the receivers, but also like they hit free agency well. One of the first things Stefanski did when he got to Cleveland was bring in a fullback because they were going to use the fullback because they were going to run the football. They brought in a right tackle, kind of shoring up the offensive line. And I just think the way they built, not to mention also, Hooper, bringing in Hooper. So you have Hooper, Njoku, and then you have Harrison Bryant. I mean, you're the solid 3 deep at tight end. And, Higgins is playing well. Jarvis Landry's playing well. Donovan Peoples-Jones is playing well. And this is all with Odell hurt. Can you imagine, because we've talked about this on the show before, the biggest jump that generally a quarterback team in general, but specifically quarterback and play caller makes between year 1 and year 2. And can you just imagine the strides this team's going to make? So it'll be fun to watch.
Well, counterpoint to talking Odell is you get a guy like that who commands so much attention and is so outwardly distracting is the only way I can think of. The way Odell is, without reaping the rewards, it almost felt like they were force feeding him to kind of keep the ego in check a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not saying Odell is the reason the Browns weren't winning games, by no means. Odell is a fantastic
Mm-hmm.
athlete, a fantastic football player, one of the top in the game. But you see more freedom and willingness to spread the ball around instead of forcing things from Baker. And now we've really seen Baker really take command of the offense and be willing to spread the ball around. So we've seen the offense explode. So I almost call into question if this isn't the best thing that could happen to Baker is him not to have a superstar, for him to say, I've got to get him the ball somehow, some way.
Well, I think those reads that he's taking were always there, but rather than taking what the defense gave him, he's like, I don't want Odell to call me out at the in the post game presser, so I'm going to try getting him the ball. So I agree with you. I think that Odell, I don't think tries, because at times I think he can be a distraction, but a lot of wide receivers are quote unquote divas. A lot of people like to call them
Stephon
because
Diggs.
because they want the football, because they know that they can do things. It's a confidence thing, it's a pride thing. But I feel like I don't think they purposely try to do it. I just think that it it's part of the ego. It's something that as soon as you start seeing the success and the ball come your way, well, as soon as it doesn't, it's like an addiction. It's like, I want more of this. Give me the ball.
I wanna point attention to a story. Just like what you said, much to your credit, it's very very similar, right? Devin Hester tells a story about the time he was in Chicago. He made a bet with one of I believe it was Julius Peppers, if I'm not mistaken, and he bet him $50 for every time Cutler threw it Brandon Marshall's way.
Mm-hmm.
After Brandon Marshall would come over and shoot on Cutler, and he said for every time he in between Brandon Marshall throws, I'll pay you 100. I will double the money. And he goes, oh, that's an easy bet. So Peppers takes it. Peppers lost an insane amount of money because Jay Cutler threw it to Brandon Marshall in practice 21
and
straight
Peppers
times.
was making a lot of money at the time too.
Yeah, I mean, and finally, and you know what? The thing is, they quit counting after 21 because they had decided he'd seen enough. My point of telling and sharing the story is we don't know what goes on in practice, and we don't know what goes on in the locker room behind closed doors. Odell might be in Baker's ear the same way Brandon Marshall was in Jay Cutler's ear to force feed the ball.
And
right?
the teams see that, and that's evident to what Hester was talking with Peppers about. Is like, it's something he noticed that Peppers didn't notice yet because he's a defensive player, maybe spend more time focusing on his craft. But as soon as somebody brings it up to him in that way, they're like, wow, that, I kind of see what you're saying. Like,
yeah, I mean, when there's rare talents like a Brandon Marshall and Odell, a Terrell Owens is a great example. Just special players that are
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is a great one. The guys that you're not going to find anywhere and everywhere, you're more willing to turn your head and look away to more things than you would. I'm trying to think of an example, an Andre Caldwell from the Broncos from 2012, right? He drops a pass. It's like, get your ass on the bench. You're going to sit down for a while.
Funny story about that. This is kind of off topic, but I don't remember if it was Austin Collie or Anthony Gonzalez. I think it was Austin Collie. He was running a route, and it was along the sideline, and it was too far out of bounds, so he reaches with one hand to try to catch the ball and misses it. And Peyton Manning points to the sideline, points at him, then points to the sideline, and he tells him to go to the sideline. He's like, don't ever try to one-hand a ball. You get two hands on that ball. And so he's walking over the sideline. The offensive coordinator and quarterbacks and wide receivers coach are like, no, you're in. He's like, no. Peyton told me to get out. So he starts walking back onto the field, and then Peyton points back to the sideline again, and he walks off to the sideline.
Peyton Manning stories. That's a perfect example of a quarterback having complete control of the offense and respect and commanding the respect. And I think, to come full circle, I think Baker is really getting that now. And he's earning it with the team. He's earning it with the fans. And he's earning it with the coaching staff full circle. So I think, like I said, I think the Odell thing was good for him because now he's had to grow and mature, and we've really seen if he's capable of doing what he is doing. So next year when you factor in Odell, assuming he comes back, assuming, everything goes well, I think, like you said, I think the Browns are going to just boom. They're just going to be a force. It's how are you going to defend them?
It's a very valid point. If you think we got anything wrong, don't be afraid to let us know in the comments. Have a question, drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bells, and check out more great content from the East West Football Network. Thank you.